Hello everyone, and my name is Seyi Olawunmi, and you're welcome to this very edition on the platform of the Christian Widows and Widowers Empowered (CWWE) with the um, mission to empower widows and widowers to a sound mind. All right. So tonight we are going to be looking at money mindset. Sorry for coming in a bit late, but I assure you we're definitely going to have a great time together tonight. All right. So we just wait for people to join us on this platform, and then we can hit the ground running almost immediately. All right. So, welcome everyone. Again, my name is Seyi Olawunmi, and I'm going to be taking you through this very special edition when we're discussing something extremely important to every one of us, which has to do with money. All right, so we will definitely be looking at the money mindset, and then I'm going to be previewing a book, and I'll be sharing not just from that particular book, and afterwards I will be sharing from my wealth of experience as a businessman over the last few years. All right, and I believe that this particular book will be a whole lot of blessing to everyone listening to us tonight. I will be sharing from the book The Secrets of the Millionaire's Mind. Secrets of the Millionaire's Mind. Secrets of the Millionaire's Mind by Harv Eker. That's the author of the book. So I'm going to be sharing some nuggets from that particular masterpiece, and after which I will also be sharing from my wealth of experience on this subject matter. It's actually an area I like to talk about, because even the Bible says that money answers all things. All right, so you're welcome to this very platform. Ekundayo Olukemi, you're welcome. I welcome every one of you, and I want you to get other people to join me so that I can hit the ground running and then do this as quickly as possible. All right. So I will also try and share this on my personal page so that a lot of people can join in right now and be with us on this particular platform. So while you're doing that, I will also like to do that on my personal page. All right. So welcome, keep joining, 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 and then I'm going to hit the ground running. I'm sure we're going to have a great time. We're going to have a great time tonight. Thank you so much for hosting me, the Christian Widows and Widowers Empowered CWWE. Thank you so much, Pastor Beatrice Yesufu. Thank you so much for giving me this particular privilege to be a blessing. And I am extremely sure that we are going to be so blessed. So I'm trying to share this right now on my personal page, and then we can hit the ground running right away. Oh, thank you, you're welcome, thank you. Okay, good. Share to a page. Yep. Okay. Yes, I'm just trying to share to my personal page, and then we're going to hit the ground running seriously. Wow, okay, this is interesting. All right, so I want to talk to you briefly on what we have titled Millionaire's Mindset. Millionaire's Mindset, and like I said, I will preview a book that deals with the subject matter, and then after that I will also share with you from my wealth of experience. All right, let's hit the ground running. Millionaire's mindset, millionaire's mindset. And then in the millionaire's mindset, we are saying that you've got to master the inner game of money. Money is an inner game. In other words, everything that has to do with money is 80% psychological and 20% mechanics. You've got to understand that. Anything that has to do with money, the money game itself is 80% psychological and 20% mechanics. Now, if you understand this, you will really know where to pitch your tent. It's like talking about the Pareto principle that talks about the 80-20 rule. And the 80-20 rule also finds its way into the money game. So the 80% has to do with the mind. All right? So 80% has to do with the mind, 20% has to do with mechanics. So in other words, we are saying that you've got to master the inner game of money. So Av Eka wrote the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mindset. All right. Now there are 3 prevailing sentences in this particular book. All right. There are 3 prevailing sentences, and the first one says, if you are not fully, totally, and truly committed to creating wealth, chances are that you won't. In other words, wealth creation is something that demands your commitment. It's not something you do like a passerby who is just having a glance at something. No. It has to do with a firm commitment. There must be a decision to wealth creation. There must be a commitment to wealth creation. In fact, I say that people are poor because they have not decided to be poor, to be rich. In other words, one of the principal things with wealth creation is that you must come to a place where you take the decision that you want to be rich. And that is going to affect your commitment and every other thing that has to do with your pursuit of wealth creation. The second prevailing sentence in that book is that if your goal is to be comfortable, chances are you will never get rich. But if your goal is to be rich, chances are you will end up mightily comfortable. So if you want to create wealth, you must go above the survivor mentality. Your mentality must be above survivor. So if you are just looking for comfortability, there's every chance that you will never be wealthy. You will never create wealth. But if you have a mindset that is bent on creating wealth and becoming rich, at the end of the day, you are truly going to be comfortable and you can do much more. Now, the third sentence in that book, the top prevailing sentence, is that has to do with the law of income. Has to do with the law of income. And this is a law that everyone must understand. Each time we talk about money, we talk about the law of value. All right? The third sentence that Av Eka made in that statement, in that book, is that you will be paid in direct proportion to the value you deliver according to the marketplace. Now, money only flows in the direction of value. And the quality and the quantity of value that you bring to the marketplace determine the flow of money in your direction. In other words, money seldom exceeds the value that you bring to the marketplace. So the only way to become rich, the only way to become wealthy, irrespective of the country that you are, irrespective of where you are, is to become a person of value, is to become a person that brings value to the marketplace. It is simply value that we exchange for money. All right? Now, in other words, I always put that this way, that money is only exchange for value. So don't run after money, but seek to be a person of value. I say that again. Don't just chase after money, chase after value. Choose to be a person of value. The more valuable you become, the more the money that flows in your direction. Now, I will discuss also the 5 big ideas in that particular book. And then after discussing the 5 big ideas, I will begin to talk about how the money mindset actually works. So there are 5 big ideas in that book. Number 1 says that if you want to move to a higher level of life, you have to be willing to let go of some of your old ways of thinking, and you must be ready to adapt to new ones. All right? That is the first big idea in that book. If you want to be wealthy, you must let go of the old ways, your old mentality, your old thinking about money, and so on and so forth. Now, the truth of the matter is that our ideas about money, our mindset about money, has to do a lot of what we pick up from our parents. It has to do a lot with what we picked up from our parents. And honestly, the question I ask is, how wealthy are your parents? You can imagine somebody who picked up money mentality from poor parents or from average parents, and then you want to become wealthy on that mentality. You must understand that our mentality about money, our mindset about money, our philosophy about money are usually things we grow up with, and we pick most of them from our parents. In other words, if your parents aren't the likes of Warren Buffett, who understand money language, who understand the psychology of money, who understand the psychology of wealth, if your parent isn't Bill Gates, if your parent isn't somebody who understands how money works, and so on and so forth, it therefore means that what you are going to pick up from your parents will be the average mentality that has gotten them to where they are. And it will become very, very difficult to break into the wealth cycle. It will become very difficult to increase your wealth index beyond what your parents are able to do with what they know. Now, let me put it this way. What you know determines what you bank. What you know determines what you bank. So if you don't know more than your parents, you can't bank more than your parents. Are you getting what I'm saying? So if you're going to move to a higher level, you must be willing to let go of some of your old ways, old thinking, and so on and so forth. Now, the second big idea from that book, Secrets of the Millionaire's Mind, is that having top of life tools is imperative, but being the top-notch carpenter who masterfully uses this tool is more critical. In other words, it is not enough to have knowledge. It is not enough to have knowledge. Knowledge is simply information. Knowledge is simply information. Now, after having knowledge, you must have understanding. Understanding is comprehension. All right? And then when you understand, it's not enough, because there are so many knowledgeable people who are poor. Now, it is not enough to have head knowledge about money. All right? It is not enough. Now, knowledge is not enough. Understanding is not enough. You must get to the place of wisdom. All right? In Proverbs 24, the Bible says, every house is built by wisdom. So, if we follow that sequence, this is what we say. Knowledge is simply information. Understanding is simply comprehension. Wisdom is application. All right? Knowledge is information. Understanding is comprehension. And then wisdom is application. So when you have knowledge, you must have understanding. And finally, you must be able to apply. And that's the second big idea about the secrets of the millionaire's mind. Now, the third big idea shared in that book is a lack of money is never ever a problem. A lack of money is merely a symptom of what is going on underneath. All right? Lack of money is an external thing. There is no problem that starts externally. Please understand that. There is no problem that starts externally. So the lack of money is an external thing. Now, when you lack money externally, that's not a problem. It's simply a reflection of what is going on your inside. It's simply a reflection of what is going on your inside. Because you cannot be running inside and stand still without. Also, you cannot be standing still within and expect to run outwardly. It's not possible. What happens on your inside determines what happens outwardly. In other words, if it's not found in your mind, it can never be found in your hand. All right? So money not in the mind can never be found externally. That's what the third idea is. The fourth idea in that book is that all statements you heard about money when you were young remain in your subconscious. All right? Remains in your subconscious as a blueprint or part of the blueprint for running your financial life. Are you getting that? Let me say that again. All the statements you heard about money while you were growing up remain in your subconscious mind as part of the blueprint that is running your financial life. And that is why if you are going to step up higher, you've got to let go of the old ways. You've got to unlearn and you've got to relearn. Let me say that again. You've got to unlearn and then you've got to relearn. All right? And finally, money can't make you something you already are. Okay? In other words, money does not change you. Money only amplifies who you are. All right? That is the third thing about the book. That is the fifth big idea about the book. All right? So let's look about some nuggets. Let's look at some nuggets as touching the millionaire's mind. All right? Number one, rich people believe something that poor people don't believe. The difference between the rich and the poor has to do with mindset. The difference between the rich and the poor has to do with what they believe. All right? The rich believe certain things that the poor don't believe in. All right? And that is the thing that distinguishes the poor from the rich. All right? Let me show you a few of these. Now, the rich believe that I create my life. The poor believe life happens to me. The rich believe that I am responsible for my results. The poor believes that life just happens. The poor believes in luck. The rich doesn't believe in luck. The rich believes that you are responsible for everything that is happening to you. And now, it is because of this belief of the poor that makes them do three things. Number one, they blame. Number two, they are always complaining. And number three, they are never responsible. Watch that about poor people. So if you want to be wealthy, if you want to be rich, you must understand that you are responsible for you. You are the only one that can create the life that you want. Nobody else is going to create it for you. In other words, you have to be responsible for your life. You have to be responsible for your results. You have to be responsible for whatever comes your way. And then you're not going to be part of the people who will keep blaming everybody for this and for that. So that's one distinguishing mentality that distinguishes the poor from the rich. Number two, rich people play the money game to win. Poor people play the money game not to lose. In other words, the poor don't want to take risk. They are afraid of risk. They are afraid of investment. They never just believe anything. Whereby the rich, whereas the rich, they are always willing to take risk. They are everly ready to take risk. They play the money game to win. They believe in themselves. All right? They know how to receive. Whereas the poor, they are always living in the zone of fear. They are always, excited about the comfort zone. They don't want to leave the comfort zone. They are always living in fear. They don't want to invest. They are afraid of investing. They are afraid of committing to this. They are afraid of committing to that. All right? Number three, rich people are committed to being rich. The poor, they just want to be rich. There's a difference between that. You must be committed to being rich. And if you are going to commit yourself to being rich, one of the things you must do is that you must find a way to move from the active level of income to the passive level of income. So the rich are always interested in activating, in increasing their passive income profile. They are always interested in that because the rich understands that, the active income cannot get them anywhere, because that will involve a direct trading of your time, a direct trading of, your skill. All right? You trade your time directly. You trade your life directly at that point. And honestly, there's little that you can make on that point until you move to the passive level of income where your money works for you, where you use other people's time. When you use other people's money, you use other people's wisdom, you use other people's skills, you use other people's talent, you're never going to come to the level of wealth that you dream of or you desire. All right, the fourth thing I want you to understand about the mindset of the rich is that the rich think big, the poor think small. How big are your dreams? How big are your dreams? The poor are afraid to dream big. The poor are afraid, they are afraid to dream big. They are afraid to take the giant step. They are afraid to set goals. They are afraid to pursue the high calling. All right? Whereas the rich, they are always thinking big. They want to make a giant leap. The rich, they dream at night, they execute in the day. They don't fold their hands. They don't allow life to happen to them. When they set a goal, they put plans in place and they pursue all of that with the whole of their mind. So until we begin to think this way, begin to act this way, then we will never be able to come to the level of wealth that is desired to give us the comfort that we need in life and also make others around us comfortable. The rich focus on opportunities, the poor focus on obstacles. Are you getting the difference now? The rich, they focus on opportunities. The poor, they focus on obstacles. When you tell the rich this building costs $1 million, the rich says to himself, how do I raise $1 million? The poor say to his or herself, I can't afford it. The rich never says, I can't afford anything. They ask themselves, how can I afford this? In other words, what do I need to do to raise the money to be able to afford this? The poor says to his or herself, on the go, I can't afford it. At the moment you say, I can't afford it, you shut down everything on the inside that can help you see opportunities, that can help you generate ideas, that can help you, to be aware of the things you need to do to be able to raise whatever is required to actually hit the goal or hit the target. So the rich people are always focusing on opportunities, while the poor, they focus on obstacles. Now, if you find yourself always focusing on obstacles, if you find yourself always dancing around why you cannot, rather than telling yourself, why can't I? It means you have a poor mentality. And that's going to be a very, very huge problem. You have a poor mentality. In other words, don't focus on the obstacles. Focus on the opportunities. COVID-19 is an obstacle. Don't focus on the obstacles. Focus on the opportunities that it brings. Now, COVID-19 came with a lot of opportunities, even though it came with a lot of obstacles. One of the things the rich have learned to do, the moment it came, they switched their focus away from the negative impact, and their focus is now on the opportunity that this has brought us, and they are taking advantage of it, because the more you focus on the opportunities, the more you see. Now, there's a quote that says, whatever you focus on gets bigger. Whatever you focus on gets bigger. If you focus on the obstacles will get bigger. If you focus on the opportunities will get bigger. So the rich understands that whatever you focus on gets bigger, so they focus on opportunities, while the poor focus on the obstacles. The rich also, number 6, rich people admire other rich and successful people. Poor people resent rich and successful people. If you find yourself resenting rich people, you're always just abusing, always accusing them. You're never happy with what they are doing. You're always finding ways to antagonize them. It means you are likely not to be rich. To the poor, every rich man is a thief. Every rich man is a 419. Every rich man has an ulterior motive. Every rich man is a wicked man, and so on and so forth. But if you see the rich, they find ways to admire each other. They find a way to celebrate what is good. They find a way to celebrate other people's progress. And if you are going to switch to the millionaire's mindset, you must find a way not to resent what is good around you, but find a way to celebrate everything. Number 7, people associate with positive, successful people. Poor people associate with negative or unsuccessful people. Now, one of the things that the rich also do is that they understand that birds of the same feather flock together. Now, if you are an eagle and you flock with chickens, you will never fulfill your destiny. So, your eagle cannot afford to flock with chickens. That is why the rich are always the friend of the rich. That is why the rich are always getting richer. The rich prefers to loan money to the rich rather than loan money to the poor. That's why you have a lot of poor people always complaining, and instead of them giving money to the... Even look at banks. We know that the poor needs money. The banks will never give money to the poor man. They will prefer to borrow Dangote money, who has all the money already. But they will never give money to the poor man. Why? Because they know the poor man doesn't even know what to do with the money. He doesn't understand the language of money. He can't multiply the money. He doesn't have big goals. He thinks small, all right? He's resentful. He has wrong philosophy about money, and so on and so forth. So even the banks will prefer to give money to the rich. Are you following me? So you must find a means to change your association. You must find a way. You must find a means to get into higher level of networks. You must look for friends. You must come into association intentionally, not just anyhow. Because you are an average of the 5 closest people to you. If you surround yourself with 5 poor people, if the 5 closest people in your life are all poor, honestly, you an average of them, you will merely end up also a poor person. All right. Number 8, rich people are willing to promote themselves and their value. Poor people think negatively about selling and promotion. Life is all about selling. Life is all about selling. Rich people are always willing to sell themselves, sell their values, sell their idea, promote themselves, and so on and so forth. But the poor, they are shy about promoting their values. They're shy about promoting themselves. All right? They are shy about selling. They are shy about projecting themselves. They are shy about virtually everything. Watch this. You can't be rich just being shy about everything. You must be bold. You must be daring. You must be willing to sell your values. You must be willing to sell yourself. You must be willing to project whatever you believe to be true. And you must be willing to stand for it anytime, any day. You must master the art of selling. Everything we do is selling. All right? Money is in selling. Sell your ideas, sell your values, sell your personality, and so on and so forth. All right? So the rich understand that they must promote themselves and their value, while the poor are always thinking negatively about themselves. The poor are always saying, I am not worthy. Let me explain this to you. The poor never find themselves worthy to receive anything, whereas the rich are always telling themselves they are worthy and they qualify to receive anything. Can I ask you a question? Do you think Donald Trump is worth being the American president? There are so many people today who are saying that he doesn't worth being the president of the biggest nation in the world. That Americans should have elected somebody like Donald Trump. But you ask Donald Trump believes in himself. He believes he's worth that seat. He believes that that's it. But the poor, they always feeling like they don't worth it. They are not qualified. They are not good enough. Whereas the rich always believe they are good enough for every opportunity. All right. Number 9, rich people are bigger than their problems. Poor people are smaller than their problems. You see that there's a whole lot of difference between how they think. The problem is not always your problem. The problem is always you. It is not in the size of your problem. It is usually in the size of you. So rich people always believe they are bigger than the problems. Poor people believe the problem is bigger than them. And let me tell you, the moment you believe the problem is bigger than you, it becomes very tough to find a means to get out of the problem. It's impossible to get out of a problem you believe is bigger than you. But for the rich, they always believe, it's a mindset. And you've got to find a way to let this also be your philosophy. Let this be what you believe. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. Tough times never last. Tough people do. That's what you hear the rich says. The rich tells you it takes having the lion's heart to have the lion's share. So they believe that they are bigger than their problems. The problems will come. They believe it's going to come and it's going to leave. And they're going to outlive their troubles. But the poor always believe their problem is bigger than them. And that's why they just never see a way out of it. All right? Number 10, the rich are excellent receivers, whereas the poor are poor receivers. All right? Number 11, people choose to get paid based on results. Poor people choose to get paid based on time. In other words, poor people, they will always dance around, celebrate the active income, whereas the rich are always finding a way to get out of the active income level into the passive income level. I'm going to be sharing with you just about 10 more minutes, and then and will be done. Now, rich people think they focus on their net worth. Poor people focus on their working income. The rich focus on their net worth. Poor people focus on their working income. The rich are always thinking at every time my assets must always be more than my expenses. My asset, I must have asset that can generate enough money that even if I do nothing, the income from my assets should be able to sustain my life. In other words, they are particular about acquisition of assets, whereas the poor are always concerned about acquisition of liability. If you have an opportunity to buy a car, if you have an opportunity to build a 3-bedroom flat, which one would you go for first? Every young man wants to drive a car, all right? But you must understand also that a car is a liability, except you are doing something with the car that brings returns to you that is more than your, liability. If you borrow money to buy a car, you must ensure that the car is returning money to you such that it can pay back your loan and then have something left in your purse, or else you are just dealing with liability. All right? So you must be able to differentiate between liability and asset. Asset is something that gives you money, that brings money to your pocket, whereas liability is something that takes money off you. So the rich will always focus on asset. They focus on acquisition of assets because they have a clear understanding that an asset is different from a liability. All right? Rich people manage their money well. Poor people mismanage their money. Poor people mismanage their money, whereas rich people manage their money well. Rich people are always thinking of how to multiply their money. And how do they manage their money well? They are giving to savings, all right? Apart from savings, they are giving to investment. Apart from that, they are giving to knowledge. Can I ask you, how rich do you want to be in life? If you tell me, man of God, I want to be as rich as having $1 billion, then I'm going to be asking you, what do you know about world economy? What do you know about the stock market? What do you know about inflation? What do you know about deflation? What do you know about the global markets? What do you know about the price of oil? What do you know, about compound interest? What do you know about banking? What do you know about, and so on and so forth. Listen, you want to have $1 billion net worth and you know nothing about all of these stuff, then that means you are a joke. Go and ask Dangote. He knows so much about the stock market. Ask him. He knows so much about the price of oil. He knows so much, about appreciation, depreciation. He knows so much about the capital market. He knows what is going on in the global markets. Are you getting what I'm saying? He knows so much about the stock exchange and so on and so forth. Why? Because that is what it takes to play at that level of wealth. You can't be so dry. You can't be somebody who knows nothing about what is going on and then you want to be rich. So that is part of, because it was Warren Buffett who said, if you can't manage your mind, don't expect to manage money. There are many people who can't manage their mind, and that is one of the weak points with the poor people. Poor people can't manage their mind. They can't manage their mind. Little obstacles, they chicken out. Little obstacle, they are crying. Little obstacle, they talk as if the whole world has fallen on them. Whereas for the rich, they have the ability to manage their minds, and they are very good with their mind. Okay, all right. Rich people constantly learn and grow, whereas poor people, they always think they know it all. All right. Finally, let me share with you the following. Our level of financial success. Let me give you this as a take-home. Our level of financial success is determined by who we are. Our level of financial success is determined by who we are, not by the circumstances that is happening around us. So the question is, who are you? Who are you? If we take all the money in the world and share it equally among every other person, in 10 years, the poor will return to being poor, whereas in 10 years, the money will go back into the hands of the rich. Why? Because it's a function of who you are and not exactly what you are. So please take this home that number one, poverty and wealth, they are both states of the mind. Poverty and wealth, they are both state of the mind. If you are poor externally, is a reflection of the fact that you are poor on the inside. Number two, a negative mind will never give you a positive life. Please understand that. A negative mind will never give you a positive life. A poor mind can never produce a wealthy life. A poor mind can never produce a wealthy life. That is why the Bible itself said, as a man thinketh, so is a man. So a poor mind can never produce a wealthy life. In other words, you must pay attention to your mind. You must guard your heart with all diligence. You must definitely, intentionally grow your mind. You must grow yourself. You must go for your knowledge. You must ensure that personal development is a goal. All right? If you correct your mind, the rest of your life will fall in place. If you correct your mind, the rest of your life will fall in place. Why? Because your body achieves only what your mind believes, and it reflects what your mind accepts to be true. Your mind is the map that gives direction to your body. Your body, your actions, your thoughts, everything, they follow what is in your mind. So if you have a poor mind, definitely you can never have a rich life. All right? So if you do not see great riches in your mind, you will never see them in your bank account. So I'd like you to begin to see great riches in your mind. Those who say they can and those who say they can't, they are both correct. Because they will always have the result they believe and hold to be true. So those who say they can't, they are correct. Those who say they can, they are correct. It's all a function of the mind. You can't win in life if you are losing in your mind. You can't win in life if you are losing in your mind. It's very, very important. And then, finally, if it's not in your mind, it can never come to your hand. So, my counsel to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that you must grow your mind. You must feed yourself with the right information. You must make personal development a goal. All right? You must associate with people that will sharpen your mind. You must associate with people that will lift you up. People that will make you see things from a different perspective. People will change your paradigm positively. And finally, to be wealthy, Mike Murdoch said, at every age that you are, you must have read books twice your age. Let me say that again. You must have read books on finances. You must have read books on money matters twice your age. At any age that you are, if you are going to attain financial success. In other words, I'm not talking about reading books. I mean books on finance, books on money. If you are 30 years old, it is expected that you must have read 60 books on money and finance and so on and so forth. If you are 40 years old, you must have read 80 books. All right? So the journey to financial success begins with your mind. If it's not in your mind, it can never be in your life. If you are poor within, you always find yourself to be poor without. Why? Because the money game is 80% mind game and 20% mechanics. Thank you so very much for tonight. I have come to the end of previewing the book, The Secrets of the Millionaire's Mindset. And I want to thank Pastor Beatrice Yesufu for this exciting opportunity. And by the grace of God, I will always be available at another time to be with you on this platform. Thank you so very much. God bless you. If I have any question, please, I'll take that in about 2 minutes. If I have any question, type in the comment box. I'll be willing to take that tonight, and then I will be shutting down in a matter of minutes. Thank you so very much. All right, in the absence of any, I think we have come to the end of tonight's broadcast. And we have previewed the book by Eva Ark, which is titled Secrets of the millionaire's mindset. Thank you. Have a great evening.